transformation, trials and tribulations of beginning the journey. All of us have periods in our lives where we're in the middle of the worst drama. We're in the middle of the biggest crises. We've been doing lots of great things. We might be really succeeding like crazy, but all of a sudden, nothing is enough. You say to yourself, I've been there, I've done that. Well, what's next? I'm absolutely torn apart by what's happening in your life. That's how you feel. And you wonder, what on earth is going wrong? Well, nothing needs to be going wrong. It's just life's journey. And this is a period for you to make a major jump forward. So you have conscious choice now as to what you choose. Do you do more of the same? More of the drama? More of the death and transformation? The whole idea of giving yourself a hard time? You know, all the times you've overdone it, think about it. What does that feel like? And you can't half the time remember what you've done. Okay, so been there, done that. Not enough, is it? No, not really. Not really, not enough. So we can say, well, I can go back to the dark and miserable, or I can do it differently. I can make a conscious choice. Yes, so what do I do? Well, Shiva will force you. Shiva and Saturn are related. Saturn is the law of karma, of time, of being forced to learn, to apply what you learn in the world in some positive way. Now, what is this all about? Well, this is about you making different choices. All of us making different choices. Now, Shiva is not a baddie. Shiva is a goodie, really. Shiva is someone who helps you to say, end of story. I don't want to do that. I've had enough. I'm not going back to that. I'm doing it differently. Otherwise, all we end up with is dry bones, dead flowers, nothing to show for it at the end of time. Yes. So our choices then are related to this beautiful flower. So think of flowers. Think of this as a lotus. So here we are now, looking at the differences between Shiva and the lotus. So what is the difference? This is will and power, your will, your power, your choice, making decisions, doing it differently. The lotus is the love and compassion in you, symbolically expressed. This is about the question is really, how do I build this in my nature, in my heart, in my mind? So this is about compassion, tenderness, feminine, if you like, or just love generally, and wisdom. Now, would you rather do more of the stuff that helps you to die step by step, or would you choose to build this in your nature? I would choose to build this, and sooner or later we're forced to buy the Lord of Karma, which is Shiva and Saturn together. Saturn, the Lord of time, Lord of retribution. That's right. Paying your bills, having to apply things fully. This is the chap that decides how long you live, by the way, Shiva, as Lord of time. Life itself. Life itself, can you imagine? Now, so what is the lotus? The lotus is really the building of your causal body. The word cause makes you think of something. So if you are the cause of something, you have the final say in what you do. So somehow it's about building each of these petals in your own makeup. If you see all these petals, then it'll be all about you building each of these petals would refer to a quality, a vibration, that type of thing. So friends, the lotus. I was asking you to think of this peony rose here as a lotus, and in many ways it's very similar. And if we look at this lotus, then we'll actually see that there are many petals. It's an Eastern symbol for the soul, or the higher self, or the light within us. And that light is built by us. So, referring to this lotus again, and our dear Shiva here, if we're starting our path up a mountain, think about it. you start from the valley, don't you? Well, this journey that we're speaking of, which we're all on, either consciously or unconsciously, is referred to here with these two symbols. Now, Shiva goes from the depths of the earth, a hole in the ground, to the center of the earth, Shiva does. Also, all the way through will and power and direction and purpose. If you learn to master these energies, you can be a very powerful transformational agent in your life and in the lives of others. But in order to do that, you need to know what love is. You also need to know what compassion and wisdom are. And so Shiva really, the early stages here at the bottom of this image, if you think of all that, you could think of going to the depths of the earth in your experience in life when you're having your struggles and your worst times. And you're climbing out of the mountain into the valley and starting your climb up the mountain itself. And then the mountain itself, in a way, is represented by a lotus. Think of a lotus. It's like these flowers here. They're closed to start off with. If you look at them, here we have buds, little baby buds, and then we have different stages along this building process until we end up at this lotus here. And normally they would be closed like that, just like the bud here. And every time you walk up the mountain consciously and you say, I'm doing it differently, I'm going to have my life, make my own life, I'm going to create my world in a very positive way. You're building in qualities into these petals. Now what does that really mean? If you were into science, we could talk about electromagnetic fields. We could talk about all the way to plasma if you want to. And perhaps in further lectures we'll do that. The main thing I want to get across though is that you're deciding to not get angry and lose your cool all the time. So you're going to say, I'm going to stop, breathe, think about that, and just say, I'm doing this differently. I'm doing this more wisely. I'm doing this whole situation in a positive way. How do I do that? I go cool down, I go and work out now, what am I learning by this experience? That in itself, that simple act can build compassion, patience, quality of even caring and compassion, these earlier petals. The knowledge petals are on the bottom line. Think of knowledge at the bottom. Yeah? And then love comes next. And then sacrifice or will comes then. And here we are on the higher refined side, related to Shiva again, the wise part of Shiva, the intelligent, purpose-seeking side of Shiva. So think of the rhythm of life. Think of the fact that, yes, I'm on my journey now. I've decided I'm going to get out of the dungeon, out of the dark, out of the wasting myself away every night. I'm going to do it differently. Now, you may not be that dramatic. You may just be addicted to a game of some sorts on the computer, and you don't get your purpose, or you don't fulfill your job, or you're feeling like you're somehow bombing out. So think of it. We all do that sometimes. So remember that the lotus itself is growing in mud. What's mud? Mud is leaf litter. It's our plant kingdom in its rotted state. And it's fertilizer then, isn't it? It's fertilizer. It's nothing that terrible. So the whole idea is that, yes, we will sink to the bottom of the pond, and there you'll see this flower growing up towards the light. Yeah? So just remember that when you're having a hard time, it's not okay for you to hurt yourself. It's not okay for you to tell yourself off and abuse yourself. It's better to take a breath, just let go and say, okay, differently. I'm making choices differently. And so just remember that Shiva is your friend, your will, your drive, your compassion, all those. And remember we said that when we started to go higher up the mountain, we actually came to knowledge of how to do things, wisdom about how to do things. And wisdom's just compassion and love. Now what is love? Love is just being willing to be all of yourself. Nothing more than that light inside you. Now every human being has it. No one can ever lose it, and no one can ever take it away from you, no matter what. So the light is what this lotus is about. Now this lotus itself is a living being. I know it sounds strange, but it is. And the idea is that there's a light that came to earth at some point, and that light is inside you. You were born with that light, and it loves you, and it's compassionate, and you don't have to be religious. It's nothing to do with religion or devotion even. It's just about energy, about life itself. So that life came as a light, which is conscious, compassionate, loving, and it actually came and you were born, and that baby that was you had it right inside you, and it's been guiding you all your life. You just haven't maybe been conscious of it. But there's been moments when you've known there's something more to you. There's an observer part of you, some part of you that watches and helps you with little whispers of positive intention. Yeah, very exciting. So think about that. So we'll talk about this again soon.